everybody, and welcome to Bios3 Raw TV. So today we're going to do a little story time. We haven't had a story time in a while. And this one's going to go kind of deep. So if you're looking for that on-surface shit, you know, how to get big and jacked and be vain as fuck, shut this off right now. Now, this is kind of spawned by, it made me think a little bit. I put a post up on my Instagram like a week ago. And it was about this Bible Belt thing and blah, blah, blah. And I posed a question to some people on there. Who are you? Do you know who you are? Because some people identify themselves as a Texan. Some people identify themselves as an American, or whatever the case may be. And I said, that's part of who you are, but that's not who you are. Like who you are as a person. Like what makes you you? And I think it got lost in, you know, some translation somehow, because I don't think people... There's two types of people, okay? And you're either awake or you're not awake. No, not asleep, but you're awake or you're not awake. And people that are awake are much more aware of their surroundings, themselves, the way they think, their feelings. They understand a lot more about the big picture than just what they see in front of them. And it kind of shocked me that there was still so many people, and that explains why the world's in a lot of darkness right now, because people don't fucking really understand that there's a big picture, and they worry about themselves, therefore they react and act for themselves to get themselves in a better position for whatever the case may be. They don't really think about other people or other things in the world. And I kind of stepped back and I was like, wow, a lot of people don't understand what the fuck I'm talking about. So, to break it down before we go into story time, I'm from Rhode Island. I'm a New Englander at heart. It's part of my makeup. It's part of where I come from. It's part of what's bred into me. But it's not who I am. You know, I live in Maryland now. I mean, that's not who I am either. I'm not a Marylander. Who am I? So, to break into story time, this is who I am. And I had to really take time over the last, I don't know, I guess 10 years to kind of develop this train of thought, because there's always a right and a wrong, and people know right from wrong, but a lot of times they worry about themselves and do the wrong thing, I feel, instead of doing the right thing based on what they want, and not really what's the best thing overall in general. Okay, just stay with me. So, I was going to the gym one day, and I don't remember if it was, I don't remember if I was having a bad day, good day, I guess it doesn't really matter. It was a sunny day, I remember that. And I was running late. Whether it was for my own workout, a train a client, or whatever the case may be, I don't remember exactly the details of why I was late or what I was going to the gym for, but I take the back roads on my way from home to get to the gym. It takes me about 10 minutes to get to the gym, 15 minutes tops. And there's a bunch of, you know, turns and stuff and speed bumps and stop signs and little families, like a lot of family-oriented places. And I'm driving by and I see this woman. Now, I'd seen her before. She was a little bit older, maybe in her 60s. Sitting in a folding chair on the sidewalk out in front of her, I guess it was her house, with two little dogs, two little white Westies that weren't on leashes, and they kind of run around and play. And she would just sit out there and kind of watch traffic and read her newspaper and whatever. And I would see her kind of frequently. Every time I went to the gym, I would pretty much see her, which is pretty much every day. So as I'm coming around the corner, I stop at the stop sign, I take the right, I go, and I see her, and she has bags in her hands. And they're shopping bags, those plastic grocery shopping bags. And she closes the door of the car. This is all happening within seconds right in front of me as I'm pulling up. And right as I get to where I see her move, and all the groceries, literally, the bag splits and they all hit the ground. So there's a right and wrong thing. You know, and I guess it depends on whether you think about yourself or whether you think about someone else as to what that right or wrong thing is. Now, at the point I was at in my life, I was starting to become more awake, more aware of my surroundings, more aware of other people and helping other people. So I stopped, I did a 3-point turn, I came back, and you know, this is before I was completely tatted up, but I still had tattoos. I had a tank top on, so it was warm out. And I parked the car and I approached this woman very cautiously because I didn't want her to, I don't know what her experiences with people are. I have no idea, you know, who she is. And I said, ma'am, would you like some help? Not do you need some help, would you like some help? And she just looked up at me and she said, oh, thank you, young man. I was like, young man, that's cool. So I helped her pick up the groceries. We put them in the other bags that she had. And I walked her to a door. I didn't go in the house. I gave her the bags and she put them in the house. And her two dogs came outside, the two white Westies. And she said, these are my dogs, Nemo and Freddy. So, I kind of bent down. I was playing with the dogs and stuff. She said, "My name is Carmen." I said, "Carmen, I'm Jerry. It's a pleasure to meet you." So we're just talking. I said, "I see you out here all the time and stuff." She said, "Yeah, it's just me and the dogs. I don't have any family. It's just me out here, and it gets kind of lonely, etc., etc." At that point, I realized, I said, "You know what? None of us, we're all set on a path, and for whatever reason, I was supposed to be right there at that time, at that point in my life where I was trying to make decisions based on the bigger picture. So I was put in that spot at that time. It's not coincidence." So we, talked a little bit, and I said, "I really have to go, but it was a pleasure to meet you." And, and I laughed. I got to the gym, did my thing. When I got home, I told Carrie about what happened, and she was just like, she's like, "Okay, well, you stopped to help some random old lady. Okay, that's weird, but whatever." And I would drive by, and Carmen didn't remember my car, didn't really necessarily remember what I looked like, I don't think. So I would drive by, and I'd see her sitting out there and stuff day to day. And every once in a while, I would stop and walk over and say, "Hi, Carmen, how are you doing today?" "Oh, hi, young man." She would always call me young man. And I'd play with the dogs a little bit. And then one time, I actually brought Carrie back by there, and I said, "You know what?" I said, "We're going to stop and see her. She's out there right now." And, we stopped and said, "This is my girlfriend, Carrie, and this is, Carmen." And, I would kind of keep an eye on her. She didn't have anybody else. And I remember probably about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, I drove by and Carmen wasn't in front of the house. I said, something's weird. The dogs are not there. She's not there. Now, she had like a very overgrown front yard. She had all these plants and stuff that she had in the yard. And I noticed that people were over there starting to take them out. She wasn't around. They were taking them out. They were cleaning the house up. Then the for sale sign went up. So I don't know what happened to Carmen. I don't know if she passed away. I don't know if she was put in a home. There was nobody to put her in a home, so I'm not really sure, who would put her in a assisted living type thing. But I really kind of stepped back and was like, you know what? There's a lesson in everything that we do. My life lessons so far, I have had to learn to cope with loss, great loss between my cousin. I have had to cope with patience, learning patience. Okay, learning stability or consistency. All these things. I wasn't stable as a kid. I didn't have a stable place to live. I didn't have a consistent place to live. We moved around all the time. These life lessons are things that you don't pick up on until you're finally awake. So I stepped back and I said, what was my purpose for actually meeting that woman? And what clicked was, at that moment when her groceries fell, I actually gave a shit more about her than myself. I gave a shit more about her than the gym, than my client, than whatever the case may be. Because even going to train my client at the gym is to make money. And if I chose money over that lady, that's selfish. So I was learning how to not be selfish, put myself aside. And I don't know, maybe there was a lesson in it for her. I don't know what the reason. Maybe it was to show that, random people can care about you even if you don't have any family. Maybe that's what it is. But the bottom line, there's a lesson in everything. And you have to figure that shit out. Otherwise you walk through life blind, asleep. And there's no fucking reason to do that. Every single one of us is here for a reason. We're put here on earth for a reason. Whether it's to do great things, whether it's to have a child that grows up to be president of the United States and they do great things, whether it's to fucking, be the uncle or the fucking godfather to someone who fucking is the next person to fucking land on the moon or go to Mars. Like, we're all here for something, and we're all intertwined. We're all linked together somehow. Now, I'm not really sure exactly how it all works yet, but it's a fact. I mean, there's no reason for me to have any feelings whatsoever towards that lady when she dropped those bags. Whatever, I got shit to do, she's got shit to do. But nowadays in the world, that's the whole attitude. I gotta fucking be at the gym. I gotta go train for a show. I gotta fucking go train a client. I gotta go to work. I gotta get gas. Anything but that poor old lady just dropped all her stuff all over the street. Maybe I should help her. And I'm seeing this more and more again. I'm seeing kids fighting with teachers, beating up teachers in school. There are videos coming out. People fighting with police brutality. You're seeing all these fucking things because no one's looking past themselves. These kids in school that are fighting with a teacher about their cell phone are like, my cell phone, I lost my cell phone, me, and I'm just like, no big picture anymore. And I don't know if as I was a kid, when I was a kid, the big picture was more apparent. I don't know what the deal is, but it's changed. So who am I? That's where it comes full circle. Who am I? Who is Jerry? Jerry's the person that does care about other people, will care about other people, sometimes more than himself, and will go out of his way to do something that may just put a smile on somebody's face just for a minute because it makes a difference. What if she had passed away that day? She would have passed away knowing someone gave a shit about her enough to help her. And, you know, those are the life lessons. And that's when I say, who am I? You know, I'm that guy. I'm also the guy that'll punch your teeth down your throat if I feel like it. You know, I'm also the guy that'll try to educate people about diet and nutrition. I'm also the guy that actually gives a shit where the fucking world goes. And I don't want to see it go down the fucking tubes. I really don't. That's who I am at my core. And until you figure out who you are, you're still asleep. Biostraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biostraining.com is a blog. The Awakened Bicep, and we're out.